Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome back. We're gonna try and get textures working today. If you'll recall, for those of you who were here last time, we got up to the point of having all of the texture stuff wired up, but not actually rendering anything to the stream, or to the screen rather. I, since then, have done the dumb, stupid, obvious implementation and been rewarded with black rectangles. So that's where we are, and we're going to spend this stream trying to get the black rectangles to transform into, let's pull up the image for real quickly, Crom's RDP texture triangle test output image, which looks like this. It's very ugly, but that's okay. We want to see it anyway. All right, so here's where we are. We've got this draw texture triangle. I did go through and kind of carve out the repeated stuff from interpolating over a triangle because it's all the same for every sort of coefficient that you might interpolate. And so now I have these texture coordinates coming in. I calculate the base address from the texture address and blah, 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 blah. And then I try to get the color value out of memory based on that. It does not seem to be working, so let's figure out why. Base error. Okay, so the address is changing, but I'm apparently just doing it wrong. So this should wipe out the fractional component because that doesn't make any sense. W is not used currently, although it's always 0 anyway. Maybe I have S and T backwards. Oops. Okay, so we've got Z buffer texture. S texture coordinate. Gee, thanks. Is there a useful image in here that explains what an S is? Or is this something that normal people just know? The internet will surely save us. Yeah, so S is the X coordinate and T is the Y coordinate. So, is memory, maybe I'm just initializing memory wrong, because that could easily be done. So it's under examples. I think I already did this check to make sure that the texture address or the value at the address was not 0. Right? What if we just hard code it to the single address? Darn it, Rust. Okay, so that's red, which does seem correct. Right? Because if we look at this image, yes, it has this red square in the corner. So that's correct. And then if I add 1, that's probably not right. So what we want to add instead is, well, the image format size, but we already know that that's 4. That's interesting. Those must have different what am I trying to say? Those must be pointing to different addresses, otherwise you wouldn't get different results. Which I guess does make sense, there's quite a few of these actually. But I would expect... Oh yeah, so if this one becomes a 0 and then these become Fs. Okay, so that seems reasonable. Now let's just figure out where we're going wrong here. So we've got address plus S. Oh, I know why. It's because this needs to move out of the multiply by 4 branch. Because that's just an offset. But the multiply by 4 is because the t's are in pixel size-ness. That makes sense. So this should be better. Nope, not better. Oh wait, I know why. Because I still have this other debug thing in. That happens. Okay, that's an image of some sort anyway. It's not just a single color in a box, so progress. I really should stop maybe printing the texture coordinates for every pixel because they don't tremendously help me and they are making everything very slow. So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're having texture address plus S plus T times width, which should be 4. Or no, not 4, it should be the width in pixels times 4, which is the size of the pixel. Okay, so that makes sense to me, right? That's the T, that's the S. Multiply by 4 for the pixels, and then add the texture address. So that makes sense, and I'm wondering now whether it's actually the coordinates that's wrong. Okay, so it looks like the first thing is wrong. So let's go ahead and just panic right here and then look at the output. Okay, so the texture coordinates are 0, 10, 0. For 6452. That doesn't necessarily seem right. That's, which one is that? That's line T is the 10. How did we get to that? Because the texture coefficients have 0, 0. Oh, we do have a 10 D edge. But that should be a fraction, right? Oh no, that's the whole number. Maybe I'm doing the edge stuff too early. At least I only have to change that in one place. Or two places actually, I guess, because I still have the half triangles together instead of split up. Okay, so now those are 0, which means we should get a red pixel for the very first pixel, which is good. Still a blurry mess. That's not too surprising, but okay. So the texture address, we get 1870, which I think is right. And I wonder if I have these in the wrong order. That would be kind of surprising, but give it a shot. Oh, whoops, forgot to remove the panic. I should probably print the set texture command too, just so I know if I have the right address. Yeah, I didn't really think that was going to be better. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and print this. Result, and then we'll do that. Oh, I should put the sharp in so that it pretty prints it. Alrighty then. Should probably make it hex also. Okay. Yes, so 1870 is correct. That is what we're supposed to have. We're looking at pixel 6452, which I think is probably right, but let's look at the first triangle command just for fun. Oh, they're calling load tile, which I'm not doing. But I think they're only doing it once, maybe? So I should be able to get away with ignoring it, hopefully. Oh, nope, they definitely are. But it's on the next set texture image, so. wonder if it's the fact that tile line size 2 64-bit words. TMM address 0, tile 0. Width of 8. Not sure what tile line size 2 is supposed to mean exactly. I'm also not sure, oh well, I guess it is a width of 8, so that does make sense. Alright. And we ended up with a width, oh, that's a width of 7, so I probably need to add 1 to that. That probably has a lot to do with it. Just more parentheses. Gotta delete the panic if you want to see pictures. Go. Okay. Interesting. I can't tell if that's better, but it certainly is different. Is there something else like that that I would be doing wrong? Alright, let's calculate T offset. I'm going to break these out so that it's easier to read because this line is getting to be a mess. Texture dot width plus 1 as U32. And so then this becomes T offset times 4 plus address. Okay, so this should be the same. And it is. Okay, good. So if we look at the picture, should definitely have both of those up. Maybe I should blow up after the first triangle. There we go. Now we'll only draw one triangle. And it'll be easier to tell what's going on. Alright, so we go from 70 to B, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm obviously doing something wrong here. An S of 16 on an image which is only 8 bits across. And do I need to divide by the width, maybe? Is that what I'm doing wrong? Because if I divided by the width, then that would be 2, which is still not right. It would be 2, 4, 6, 8 across that, which again doesn't really seem correct to me. But maybe it is. This shows the S coordinate ranging from 0 to W, and the T coordinate ranging from 0 to H. Is there like a scale value that I'm missing? This thing suggests that maybe there is. set textures, and then we set the tile line size. What does set tile actually do? Let's look at that for a second. Size of tile line in 64-byte words. Or 64-bit words, rather. So I guess would be 4. Well, let's try dividing by width and see if that looks better. It seems a bit odd to me, but it's all I can really think of, because an S of 16 doesn't make any sense. And that's a going in thing. Or is it? S, yeah, ds dx is 10. And that's an integer number. So I would expect that to be that's a bit weird, but okay. So we're going to take these and we're going to do divided by the width, which is 8. Divided by texture.width plus 1. And then going to have some sort of issue with that, I'm sure. Because it's Rust and it's going to get cranky about integer types. Yep. As U32 plus 1. Go. Okay. That looks closer, kind of. What are we supposed to get out of this? We're supposed to get the top half of this little thingy. That looks kind of close. It still doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, though. Hi, Michael C2112. How you doing today? Why would we divide by 16? I don't understand. Just dropped it in. How's it going? It's going okay. So I'm trying to make textures work. And I'm having a difficult time figuring out the coordinate system because I'm not really a computer graphics person at all. So I have S coordinates and T coordinates, and okay, that's interesting. I have S coordinates and T coordinates, and I'm trying to turn them into like a color, and it's proving to be not as trivial. I think you should use the line size attribute to calculate stride. So I'm using the width to calculate stride, I think. Line size of what? The line size of the tile command, you mean? Yeah, so I'm not doing that at all. Two 64-bit words would be 16. So that does make sense. Although it's a bit odd to me. Which coordinates does that apply to? Like, I don't know what this means, honestly. So when we load the tile, right, we set tile. We give it the data format, which is RGBA. We give it the size, which is 8 bits. We give it the line size, which is 2. I don't know what that means. We give it a tmem address. Which, if we look at set tile, I think we're passing 0. Yeah, texture memory address 0. The tile index is 0. Palette, clamp, mirror, mask, shift, clamp, mirror, mask. I don't think we're changing any of that. No, those are all zeros. And what is load tile? What's the difference between set tile and load tile? Oh, it's loading stuff into the tile, huh? That would make a certain amount of sense. And so we're loading 0077 into the tile, which does make sense to me. Because it's an 8x8 texture. So I get that. And we're loading this into the tile, and we're saying that a line is 2 64-bit words. So 2 64-bit words is 16 bytes, which is, or is that wrong? No, that's 32, I think. I'm a programmer, I swear. What was I saying? Okay, so 64 bits is going to be 8, 16, 32. Yeah. So 16 is 2, 32 is 4, 64 is 8. And that means it's 16, which is, in terms of an RGBA pixel, that's only 4 pixels across in a texture line, which doesn't really make sense to me either. Because you would think that the line would be like related to the X dimensions of it. It's strange. I believe upload uses sh minus sl plus 1, while sampling uses line size. RGBA 32 is strange because it is the same line size as RGBA 16. I don't understand why those things are related, I guess. I don't understand what the line size like means, I guess. Yeah, so that's fine. Must be byte aligned. Image pixel size. Fractional coordinates used for subpixel coordinate operation, offset and multi-tile operations. Okay, so for YUV textures, tile line is line equals width plus 7 right shift 3 8-bit texels. Because although the image texels are 16-bit, the TMMY texels are 8-bit and TMMUV texels are 16-bit at half the width in S. RGBA 32 pixels are split in half and stored in separate banks. Okay. (32-bit) RGBA YUV set tile type should indicate 16-byte or 16-bit texels. Okay. Software must specify texture coordinates sizes which are even numbers in S so that a pair of UV values are available. Okay. So the line width is 2. The RG channels are stored at address X, and the BA channels are stored at address X plus 2048. Okay, that makes sense in the texture memory, but I'm not really emulating the texture memory right now. So they should all just be stacked right on top of each other in like CPU memory, because that's where I'm leaving them for. Whoa, whoops, I must have hit caps lock. I'm sorry, Vim. I'm leaving them in CPU memory. So they should all just be looking like this. So, I mean, is this pixel here S equals 1, T equals 0? Because that's what I'm imagining it to be. And then same here, S equals 2, T equals 0, etc. That's how I'm calculating this. And then after 8, bumping down 1. And so you're saying, I mean, the T and the S are going to be in texture memory normally. Sure, that makes sense. But why would it want to increment by 16? That is the length of a tile stride in bytes, sure. But I wouldn't think that every time you incremented S, you would want to increment it by that much. Am I supposed to divide by the width and by the line size? Is S supposed to be like normalized or anti-normalized? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what I'm even saying anymore. So let's just revert this back to like what I think it should be, which is this. Snip off the fractional parts. There's your texture coordinates. Calculate, calculate, calculate. Alright, so this is what I think it ought to be. And then let's look at what we actually get. So as we go laterally, we go from 0, 16, 32, etc. So we're adding 16 in S. And then when we move down 1, which is going to be here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 up to E. And then we jump back to 0. End up at D. So this all makes sense, right? We should be getting half of the texture. Except for some reason we need to divide everything by 16. Oops. And if we do that, okay, it's still wrong, which is sort of troubling. But that seems right, that seems right, that seems right, that seems right. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, except that isn't because we still get up to F. So let's divide by 32 instead. Just going to keep tweaking values till I get something that looks reasonable, and then I'll try to figure out why. Okay, that looks right. The alpha's backwards, but otherwise that looks correct. Right? Yeah, that looks fine. The alpha's wrong. But other than that, it looks fine. Because I haven't implemented the color combiner yet. So we're just not going to use alpha. And instead, we're going to do let alpha equal FF. Well, that's interesting. Okay, it's actually not surprising. Oh, I have this backwards. That's why. Let's run it with this not backwards first. And then we'll see whether we need to change the alpha or not. Floor, okay. Set alpha FF. That's probably not right either, actually, but it's probably FF minus alpha. Oops. Okay, that made it worse. I have regrets. Alright, so I've got an alpha problem, but I'll figure that out in a bit. This does look a lot better. I still have no idea why I'm dividing by 32. But maybe I'll just let it draw all the triangles now and see what we get. Okay. This one looks mostly correct. This one is obviously not correct. Same with these, and then these are mostly right. It's mostly just these big ones that are demonstrably wrong. These have a weird little break in them. But by and large, this seems about right. I bet these are wrong because they're loading from a different tile. Actually, probably all of them are wrong because they're loading from a different tile. And then I bet that little hitch is because I changed when the edge function gets applied. And I should not be doing that. Probably. Oh, hello, cat. This is my cat Meat. He's sitting in my lap. He's very cute and somewhat disruptive. Let's see, where did I make that change? In interpolate. Alright, so yeah, let's hoist the edge stuff back up where I'm pretty sure it goes. So hopefully this will get rid of that weird little break in the middle. It did not. Well, it sort of did. It just moved it to a different place. Cool. Guys are kind of squishy and distorted now. Hmm. Well, why are we dividing by 32? This seems like it has to happen. I don't understand how anything else could work. But why would we be doing that? So texture memory is in 32-bit or 64-bit coordinates. And you're adding 2 of those, which bumps you 16 bytes across. But we're actually doing that twice because of how it functions, I guess. Because it's split in half. Hi, Breadfish. Which would mean that we were moving 32 bytes, I guess. I don't know. I'm confused. Breadfish, do you understand why I have to divide by 32 here? I should probably just actually emulate the texture, the tile memory and stuff, because otherwise I might never get anywhere. But basically, I interpolate the texture coefficients over the triangle. That's no problem, I think. But then turning that into a color, I'm having some challenges with. And I was only able to make it kind of correct by dividing by 32, but then I still get kind of a weird result. I definitely have some alpha problems, which is why I have black in a bunch of places that shouldn't have black. But yeah, this is odd. But at least it looks pretty correct, right? Like there's some distortion and things, but it's fairly right. It fairly well matches what Crom has, which is this. So I'm wondering if I don't know. It's something to do with the tile memory, I think, or something like that. Hey, buddy. Cat. Alright, so maybe I should just cheat less, basically, and actually implement the texture memory somehow. What would the practical upshot of what Michael C2112 was saying about breaking the channels in half? So what is 32 here? It's not possible that the... It's not possible that this is in bits. That would be incredibly stupid. Set tile size is also a thing, apparently. Which I don't think is getting called. Let's check. Right, we just set tile, load tile. I think, also I think is 16-bit, so it can read the whole thing at once that way. Um, hmm. $16. So confused. Why would I want S to change by 16? Unless it like fills the tile all the way or something up to 255 bytes or 256 bytes. That doesn't really make sense. Sup, Metaconstruct? Thanks for stopping by. This is what we have currently, and this is what we're aiming for. I have some ideas as to why some of these things are incorrect, or at least different than one would expect them to be. So this is DSDX is 32, which makes sense because this is a smaller triangle. In as much as 16 makes sense, which is to say it doesn't. But at least that matches my expectations. And then the next one, which, what's the difference here? It's just rotated. Has also 32, which is interesting. But dx dy is -1. Which, are the other ones that? No. Yeah, they are. Okay. So why are these still 32? How does that result in it getting rotated? Oh, it's because dtdx is 32 and dsde is 32. That's why that ends up rotated. Okay, that makes sense to me. Let's go back to just the one triangle. Oh, I know why my alpha problems are, is because I'm just literally overwriting the frame buffer and I'm not doing any blending at all. Duh. Okay. So we get 0 twice, which seems right because how far across is this triangle? Right, it goes from 64 to 80, which is 16. And 16, this is an 8-bit texture, or not an 8-bit, an 8-byte across texture, an 8-pixel texture. So it makes sense that that would want to be 0 twice. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7. And then every row we increment E by 1. So that seems correct to me. In terms of how you would want this to work. And hello, other cat. All the cats coming out. Okay, so that makes sense. I'm gonna handle the triangle commands. I think that's gonna be necessary in order for this to make any sense. So let's add that to our RDP commands database here. Alright, so we got a bunch of different tile commands, but we need specifically set tile and load tile. Set tile is 35. So let's start by parsing that. Alright, so we've got set tile. And the structure that we have is going to be just called tile, I guess. And it's going to have a format, which I think we actually already have somewhere. Format, texture format right there, okay? Which I think is the same. I should probably change the name, but that's fine. Oops. Size is also texture size. This all seems very redundant. I wonder what happens if you mishmash those. Probably just get weird results. Alright, so then size is size in bits. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So actually, yeah, that's what size is, and then format is RGB extension. Yeah, so I've already got that. And then line is gonna be, how big is that? It's only like a couple bits, right? Oh, 8 bits. 49 to 41 is actually 9 bits, isn't it? Yeah, that's 9 bits. So that means it's a U16. TMM address is, looks like also 9 bits. So U16 again. 4, that's only 3 bits. Okay, and then we're going to ignore the rest of this stuff for now, because it's not used. And then 35. Is everything okay stream-wise, by the way? Can you like read the text and hear me okay, and so on and so forth? Do I need to zoom in, or? Like Format's at the same spot. Yep. Size also. I wonder why I'm reading format twice. That's weird. Okay. Could probably get rid of these too. Address is at 32. Alright, let's just go down the list. So, line size and line width, value right shift, 41 and 0x. Am I right about the size of that? Yeah, I think that's 9 bits. So 0x 1ff as U16. CMM matter 32 1ff. Thirty-two, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay. And then the tile value right shifted by 24. I think it's a 3-bit thing. 526. Yep. Okay, and then pallets and junk we're gonna leave alone. And then we're gonna return okay, RDP command set tile. Format, size, line width, tmem adder tile. Close delimiter possibly meant for this, yeah. Expected enum texture format found U8. So, okay. Set texture image, which is right here. Ah, okay, I see. So that's how those two do. So I wrote that into them. Okay. So that's how you decode a set tile, but then I need to actually do something with it. Which is that I need to change this so that all these functions are not static. I need an actual magic RDP struct. And it needs to hang on to a couple of things that I've been passing in everywhere lately. That would probably start quite far down. Yep, okay. So, we're going to do obstruct RDP. Whatever. And then pub tile. RDP is going to need to take over a lot of this stuff. So the interpolate, yes. Draw triangles. I don't even know if most of this is getting called anymore. Okay, so we'll do that. It probably should also have, instead of taking the frame buffer to all these functions, it should probably have like a bus struct that it can use to read the frame buffer and just store the address to it. But for now, we're not going to make change that invasive. I think this will probably not make any real changes here, except that it's going to get passed into the operation that gets called. So many errors now, I'm sure. Okay, so starting with 931. That should fix that, yes? Yes. Oh, it's this thing, yeah. That stuff probably could come out, actually. Let's go ahead and move that out. It doesn't really make sense for the color conversion functions to live in the RDP. Do 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 do. Move that. Okay, so we're just going to tag all of these with self for now, and then later on they will actually take self, but I just wanted to get it back to the point of running as well as it ever did. Okay, so instead we're going to do this. And this, which is going to require me to take in self to both these. Oh, and here, okay. Yep, but now you're going to get mad when I call it because it's not actually in Magic anymore. Alright, so we're going to do let mute RDP, or no, that shouldn't be there, that should be up at the top. Build RDP struct, let mute RDP equal I'm going to get rid of these two things for now. Okay, and then when we call these things, oh, this is going to come from Magic, so it's got to be Magic RDP. And then in here, we're going to call RDP dot, draw fill triangle, draw fill rectangle, etc. Draw texture triangle, and hopefully that'll work. Oop, not quite, because I don't have a that. This is an associated function, not a method. Oh, because I didn't change those yet. That's which ones? Draw, fill, try. Okay, so you're going to take and self and not use it. And you're going to take and self and also not use it. Okay, there we go. Alright, as good as it ever was. Now we are going to want to I guess just make a couple more changes real quick. Get rid of some more of the self colons. Oops, that's too many deletes. Okay, so that's good. And now we need to actually store those triangles. So when we decode a triangle command, this is where we're going to want, actually, the first thing that we should do is make these real again. And now it's going to yell at me. Alright, so where do we actually get the texture here? Texture equals image ref, which is passed in right here. So yeah, that's what we want, is magic image ref default. Okay, we need a default for tile also. Meanwhile, probably be able to just derive default from that, hopefully. Looks like yes. Okay, good. And now we're going to get rid of texture. Which is right here. Goodbye. And instead of that, we're going to set RDP.texture. And then again, RDP.tile. It's going to be tile. Okay, so we're going to nuke the texture reference from here because we've already got it now in here. So there we go, and then wherever we use texture, which I guess is right here, RDP dot. Okay. Cool, so we've got that now, and then so we do set texture image, but all this does is just like get ready, right? And then we load tile, which is over here, and we say the S coordinate of the tile in the image and the high S coordinate of the tile in the image. supposed to call load block? I guess we don't have to because Chrome doesn't. So you just call set tile and then load tile. And you load the tile from the this thing. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is decode load tile. Oh, hello, cat. Where? Hello, hello. Fluffy tail. So here's the other cat. He's kind of a butt, but he's very fluffy and cute. He wants to eat my cords. He's a good boy. All right. SL, SH, TL, TH. Or no, that's wrong. It's, how big are these? 10.2s. So U16, 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 U16. Unless they could be negative. I don't see how they could be negative. That would be weird. Okay. So this command is what exactly? Cute cat. Thank you. He knows it too. He's very photogenic and he loves to use his cuteness to get away with stuff. Oh, wow. Hello, Zorchenheimer. 6502 raid. Wow, that sounds like fun. Welcome aboard, everyone. We're trying to figure out how tiles and textures work on the N64 RDP, which is Reality Display Processor. I hope that you will find it of interest. 6502. What were you working on the 6502? I did an NES emulator challenge a while back. I did not complete it per se, but it was a lot of fun. Not remote desktop protocol. No, not in this case. All right, so this is value, right shifted Y. Where do you start? 44. And it's 12, which is 3FF as U16. It's an NES game. Awesome. We need more new development for old consoles. Well, needs a strong word, but it's very cool when it happens. All right. H. Okay, so we've got this. Is going to be at 12, and then that one's going to be at 0. How long have you been into Rust? I've been into Rust for a while. I was originally looking at it back in, geez, like 2015, 2016, pretty soon after 1.0. I made some updates to the LLVM MSP430 backend to basically support Rust better. And I've been interested in it ever since then. I basically like the idea of anything that lets me work on embedded stuff, but does not, you know, has like a real type system, for example, or has like macros that are not just copy paste or things like that. So the lifetime stuff in Rust honestly was not the big draw for me originally, but I've found it to be pretty cool and helpful. It's just not really what I was looking for, I guess. Yeah, I eventually want to try some freestanding Rust stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit tricky in some places, but for the most part, it's actually not bad. Whoops. Okay, RDP command, load tile tile, SL, SH, TL, TH. I should probably make that a struct like enum instead of... Can you mix those? I don't even know. Let's find out. So that would be tile, SL, SH, TL, TH. For the most part, not too bad is enough to make me happy in a programming language. Yeah, no kidding. See if that'll build. Oh, turns out yes, that's easy. Yeah, I like Rust for the most part. There are a few choices I would have made differently, but they completely come down to like what I care about and are not at all the choices Rust should have made. For instance, I'm totally obsessed with inter-language interoperability and stable ABIs and shipping to Linux distros and stuff like that, which Rust basically doesn't care about at all, which is fine. It's not an unreasonable choice. A lot of languages make that choice. Okay, so that's the load tile command, and then I have to actually do something with it. Load tile. Tile. SL, SH, TL, TH. And in order to do that, I need to give my RDP some texture memory, so let's do that. Going to be a U8 by 4096, I think, is the size of the texture memory. Yeah, it is. Okay. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to load the tile into the texture memory. And I think that the set tile command gave us the address in the texture memory, right? So in words. Don't know what you mean by that. Which part? About like ABI stability and stuff? Okay, so the tile, the active tile. All right, so rdp.tile. What did I call it? Tmem adder. So the tmem address is in 64-bit units, so if you divide it by 8, you'll get it in bytes, which means, so let base address equal that. And then you want to copy for x in sl dot equal sh, for y in tl dot equal th, offset equals x plus y times something, presumably the line width, I guess. Oh, you mean like interface for other code calling into Rust? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the CFFI stuff is great, and the reason that it's easy to call into C, versus something like Python, is that C has a stable ABI, a de facto stable ABI, on every platform. So you know what a C struct is going to look like. You can, write code that makes assumptions about memory layout and blah, blah, blah. And you know how to call a C function, all that stuff. And Rust doesn't have that, right? If you haven't built it with exactly the same version of the compiler, you have no idea whether you can call a dynamically linked library that was built with an older version of the compiler. There's no guarantees about that at all, which, in addition to being bad for cross-language compatibility stuff, is also gives Linux maintainers a fit, because anything that they want to distribute as a shared binary, they basically can't unless it has a C wrapper around the rust, which is always a little bit weird. Okay, so I probably want to multiply this by... That's not just a consequence of the project being somewhat young. It might be. The maintainers don't really seem to feel that it's a problem, which, again, like, Python doesn't have an ABI. Go probably doesn't have an ABI. I don't really know. Swift does, which is actually really interesting. But, yeah, I mean, if most people don't care, and it seems like they don't, then whatever. I just happen to care because it's my particular bugbear. Okay, so then line width equals rdp.tile.lines width times 8. Go is all mostly static. I don't think you can write DLLs with it. Yeah, see, that's exactly the choice that a lot of things make nowadays. People seem to have basically given up on dynamic linking and have just punted to either static linking, or if they really are willing to just go whole hog, to, Docker and Docker-like solutions. Which, again, like, I get it. Works on my machine becomes works on every machine. That's great. It's a little inefficient. RDP dot text mem base adder plus offset is equal to texture rdp.texture. Let's just keep these on the same page so that I get a little bit less distracted. Hey, let's see here. Texture, or no, it's image reference. You can do it the other way around though. Load a DLL and use it in a Go program. Yeah, you can do that with Rust too, although it's a little bit interesting around the safety rules. It's pretty much always an unsafe operation. But, whatever, that's fine. Okay, so we have a format, a size, a width, and an address. Texture bytes, because this is where the bus should be, but I don't have one yet. Accessed by rdp.texture.address plus x plus y times rdp.texture.width. Hopefully that works. Nope, you're upset because it's needs to be a U size. Which I get. You're gonna make me cast a bunch of stuff. And then as U size probably won't even work. Oh, I'm not initializing the texture memory. That's a problem for sure. Probably get a Stack Overflow from that at some point, but whatever. Expected U16. SL, SH. Cell TL. You're making an emulator. Yes, specifically I'm making the renderer slash rasterizer slash texture unit. Basically half the GPU of the N64. At the moment, anyway. Eventually, I would love to get onto other parts, but there's enough here to keep me busy for quite some time. If you want to hear a little bit more about the project, the Nightbot has some interesting stuff. Well, I think it's interesting that you could take a look at. Wow, now that takes some skill. Thanks. I mean, it's mostly just, well, not just. I don't mean to belittle it. But it is primarily patience and reading documentation over and over again until it makes sense. Index is out of bounds, but the length is 4096 with the index is 4096. Okay, so that's right here, huh? Yeah, butting head against the wall over and over again. Exactly. Cool idea with the name. Thank you. I blame Neil Stevenson. I read his book Cryptonomicon a long time ago, and that's where I learned all those things. Hello, cats. Oh, I'm covered in cats. Okay, what's going on here? Let's print some values before we go into this loop, huh? Copying. To tile. SL, SH, TL, TH, tile. Oh, hi, bud. You heard me talking about you, huh? He likes to sleep on top of my computer these days. Oh, good kitty. But he heard me talking about him and decided to pop out of here. 0 to 124. That doesn't seem right. Oh, because it's 10.2. Duh. Okay. Can fix that. Yes. Kitty pets. We do have an emote of the other cat, if you should be so kind as to subscribe. I don't really expect that, to be honest, but it is an option which is available to you. Okay, there we go. So that all works. Oh, you're so cute. He's a good boy. They both are, most of the time. Okay, so let's give ourselves more than one tile. First of all, that seems like a good thing to do. Whoop. Goober. Tiles. It's going to be tile, comma, I think there are 8? Well, it's only a 3-bit field, so there must be 8. Okay, and then when we grab it in this thing, instead of writing to tile, tiles, tile.tile. That doesn't seem right. Is that really what I did? That would have been stupid. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Well, whatever. Okay. And then down here. Ooh. Tiles tiles brackets tile. Again, bad naming. It's a good cat, but he better not jump on my workbench again. So for those of you that have decided to stick around and are taking a look, what do you find interesting about this project, and what is it that you do in your daily lives? Are you like programmer types, or what's going on? Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Talking to people is the best part of doing this, honestly. Cat's sitting in front of the chat now. Thanks, bud. Oh, yes. Okay, so that's fair. 155. We got to make this an array. Tiles. And on line 240. Ah, yes, this bit needs an as usize also. Cat, move your butt. Actually, I guess I can just move the chat, huh? There we go. Yes, I am a programmer type. Awesome. What do you work on? Are you an embedded person or more higher level stuff? Oh, come on, Rust. Don't give me this junk. This is a bad choice, but I'm doing it anyway. Who cares? Okay. Good. So now we're storing the tiles. We're writing to the texture memory. We're not doing that thing that guy said to do. I shouldn't call him that guy. I can just scroll up. Michael C. Said to break those in half and write them to different halves of texture memory. I guess I could do that. Alright, so that's load tile, and then when we're going to render a texture, in my current job I write enterprise software in Python. Hey, no shame in that. I write C# all day. Whatever you've heard about enterprise business software, it's worse. I believe that without reservation. Alright, so we did that. So now when you go to draw the texture, does texture triangle even, like, it must have like a thing. Or no, I bet you use the current tile. That would make sense. Right, so this is S texture coordinate, and then presumably you do that in your tile instead of whatever you're doing now. So currently we're passing in textures and textured bytes, which is not what we want. We're going to get rid of texture bytes. I don't know why this is textures with an S. There should only be one, but okay, and then instead of looking at this stuff, so the set texture should basically be done now, because we should be able to just look in the tile instead. Hey, bud. So actually, we probably do need some sort of active tile then. Yeah, so let's add that to our RDP. Okay, and then when we call set tile here, we're going to do RDP dot active tile is equal to tile. And then here we're going to go ahead and do hello, Bubby. Oh, goodness. Yes, okay. You really screwed me up there, bud. It's right in the middle of typing. Do 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 do. Boom. Right, and then we need to initialize it with active tile. Is that you? You wearing sunglasses? You are a cool cat. Okay, and then draw texture triangle, expected 4, but 3 were supplied because I didn't delete that yet. 1 kitty cheer. Thanks, Ty. Right, so I didn't delete memory yet, which is what we want to do. And where it says active tile equals tile, it's actually tile dot tile. That's fair. Okay, and now memory is gone, which, yes, that is true. What we want instead is, so for instead of our base address, we're going to use tiles active tile dot, I think it's like tmem adder or something like that. Yeah, tmem adder. Okay. And then instead of memory, I'm going to use RDP dot textmem. See what we get. Slices are of type usize. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I should make that a usize value. One thing about Rust is it is very nitpicky about integer typing. It doesn't bother me overly much, but it's kind of annoying. Right, and then it wants this as usize, or as u32, I guess. Typing in general, but that's a feature. Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely not going to argue with the typing in general. That's great. I do wish there was just a little bit easier on integers sometimes. I mean, I guess I could, like, hey, I got garbage. Sweet. Hello, Bubala. Okay, so now I'm doing all this extraneous dividing, which may or may not be useful. And also, I think T offset is still based on reg texture width. So let's do that instead, actually. This is going to, again, be... Wait, hang on. I'm confused. So I'm taking that and I'm multiplying it by the texture width. But in this case, what I want is I want to multiply it by tiles active tile dot line width. The line width does not get a +1, but it does get a ×2, I think, because it's 64-bit. Or maybe it gets a ×8, actually. That's probably more accurate. Okay, I've made a bunch of changes all in a little row here. Let's actually investigate some of them and make sure that they're doing approximately the right thing. Let's see here. Don't need 2 of these. Alright, so once we're done with this, I don't know why I did that. That's not a thing that you can do. Okay. Alright, so we've got... We're just going to go ahead and do print line. Incorrect close delimiter. What you talking about, Willis? Those are probably related. Yep. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Alright. I should probably explode after I do that the first time, so that I can actually look at it. Buddy, don't put your head on my arm. You're just going to be disappointed when I have to pick the mouse up again. Alright, now let's compare with... Oops, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. Compare with what Crom has in his texture. And it does not match. Which is not terribly surprising, I guess. So what's going on here? Somehow I ended up with a bunch of things that only modify the bottom byte. So that's probably what's wrong. Hey, guess what? That's exactly what's wrong. Cats don't want you to use a mouse. Absolutely correct. When you're right, you're right. He's a good boy. Okay. Yeah, so that was dumb. We have to do this for I in 0.4. Plus I. Plus I. Is that going to work? Right, and then I'm printing it as bytes also. Alright, now this is obviously going to be hideously ugly because it's printing a byte by byte. Well, that still doesn't seem right, does it? Oh, it's because I didn't add the plus I. Dingus. Okay, FOOF. Excellent. That's what we wanted. Okay, so let's get rid of the panic, and let's stop printing out texture memory. Let's see if we get a better result, now that we're actually copying all 4 bytes. Nope, not really. Okay. let's draw our first triangle and then panic. And actually print these things. Okay, so are we still getting, yeah, 0011. That is still what I expect, because no other way makes any sense. Okay, and so then the base address in texture memory should be 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. That all looks right to me, basically. Let's see when we go up a thread whether it still looks good. A thread, what am I talking about? Okay, so that jumps to 40. That doesn't seem right. It seems like it ought to be 20 instead of 40. So where am I doing that? I have T offset is, I have line width times 8, which is apparently too big. Don't really know why. Again, I'm basically just tweaking these numbers until they work, and then I'm going to try to reverse engineer the explanation, which is sometimes an acceptable way to do development, even if it feels kind of bad. Okay, 1C and then 20. That's what I expected. Alright, let's see if drawing it is better now. Let's only draw the 1, which is what we do have. So all we need is to delete the panic here. Still not better. Sharp 010x print color. Is that gonna work? Apparently yes. Okay, so let's take this over here. Let's go over here and look at what Crom has and what we expect to get. And let's see here. So F, 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 F. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got the same one twice. So F, F, 0, 0F. So that's not what I would expect here. Cats have enough fingers to use Vim. It's fine. That's true. And then it becomes FOOF. So that doesn't make any sense at all. So it must be the load that's wrong. Unless I'm just wrong entirely about how this works. So let me take another look at this. So load tile here, we load up to 7 for the right major triangle, and this for these two triangles basically. And then we sync the tile, which shouldn't do anything because this is not a multi-threaded situation for me currently. And then we don't load another triangle or load another tile before we go to do the next thing or the next thing. We only load another tile for these guys or these guys. Probably these guys. So it is all the same tile. And I think I should probably... Alright, so we have this set to 2. But it's actually supposed to be 8 across. Right, 8 pixels. Which is 32 bytes. Which is 64 times 4. So because of the pixel format, we double this because we're actually storing half of it in cyberspace. So I guess let's just do that. Instead of doing it this way, we'll do plus 0 plus 2048. 0 plus, or not, no. 1 plus 2048. 48. And then when we load the tile, instead of offsetting it by the line width, which is this, we're going to offset it by twice that. Handle V-Wave, pixel formats, mess up line width, calculations better. Times 2. Okay. Actually, if we're going to do that, I mean, okay. Yeah, let's just leave this alone for now. To do, deal with loading upper half of pixel in upper half of tmem. Alright, so now we've got FF0000 0F, which again, that's not right. So there must still be something wrong here. Hey! My cat loves to eat cords, and I currently have a USB cable precariously stretched across my office, and he is eyeing it hungrily. Alright, let's just explode right here, huh? Copying from X, Y, address, this. So X, Y, hey, get down. Base, adder, plus offset. Kablam. Okay, so 0, 32, 64. That all seems right. Oh, and then we end up at address 1, which does not seem right. Oh, maybe it does. 8 bytes times 4. Yeah, 8 pixels times 4 bytes per pixel. Does actually sound correct. But I have the X and the Y reversed. That's the problem. Yeah. I think that's the problem. It might not actually matter, though. It probably shouldn't matter. Actually, so this isn't right. This is 2. The from is going to be X, Y, and instead of base address, we have rdp.texture.address, and instead of offset, we have y times, right now, plus x plus y times rdp.texture.width. Nah, bite me. Semicolon. Let's turn everything into a usize. Go. What? Oh, I failed to save. Okay. Kaboom. Alright, so we're copying from... I should probably make these hex. Kaboom. Alright. 1877. Okay, well, there's your problem. Texture width is off by 1. Texture width as usize plus 1. Alright, and then it's going to be that plus source offset plus I. Oop. Okay, it's not texture underscore width, it's texture dot width. Here we go. Kaboom. Okay, so yes, much better. Except we do... Okay, yeah, we end up offset when we do the X's, which we should really be looping the other direction, I guess, but it doesn't really matter as long as they match. So let's get rid of the panic, and let's get rid of the prints, and see what we get. Not enormously improved. Let's see what we get here. FFFF 0000 0F. That still doesn't seem right, does it? Where's the texture data? 0000. So we should get 0 4 times. But instead we get 0F, which is wrong. And then we get FOOF again, which is even wronger. Alright, let's just reverse these, shall we? It really should not matter, but it'll make reading the debug information much easier. Hello again. I mean, it is nice to have a cat that's so affectionate. I can't argue with that. Even if he picks inopportune times. Yes, I'm talking about you. Okay. This all seems right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 20. Okay. So that's wrong. Maybe... Oh, wait a minute. No, this is real stupid. All of this is real stupid. Because I'm doing the I thing, but then I'm walking every byte. So of course it's wrong. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah. So... Or no, actually, okay, so that's... Yeah, I need to multiply by the pixel size somewhere in here. That's what I'm not doing. So I probably am going to multiply the offset by that, because that just seems like the thing to do. Right, and then this is going to be times 4. Alright, now this should make more sense. Okay, yes. 4, 4, 8, 8, C, C, 80, 10. Okay, and now when do we jump? Right here, 1C, and now it becomes 0x80, it's even worse. So that means that my line width is wrong, which is not surprising. I want to divide by 2 somehow? Let's see here. Yep, okay. Alright, and now let's get rid of the panic. See where we end up. Hey, that looks like a triangle. Hooray! Alright, now let's turn everybody else on. See what we get here. Oop. We have an explode. Base address is 1,000. I've got some sort of off by 1, I guess. I wonder if it's this thing that I reversed already. Let's put it back. It was not clear to me where in the interpolation the edge coefficient stuff needed to be added, whether it was before or after the x coefficient stuff, like at the beginning or the end of the line. That seems not to have affected it, and I still like beginning of the line better. So let's see what's going on here. We make it pretty far before this happens. I guess the last one. Right? 244.58. Is that the very final pixel? 244. No, it's not. 244.58, I think, is the first. I don't know. I don't know what it is, honestly. Is 244 even a thing? X244. It doesn't seem like a thing. Why am I drawing a pixel there? Am I just thinking about this wrong somehow? 64, 72. It's not so much the 244 as it is the 243 that I'm confused by. It doesn't look like there's any triangle that is supposed to include 243. Oh no, I guess this one does. Okay. And it's Y58. So yeah, that is in that triangle. Okay, good. That would have been bad. I don't necessarily know how to debug this right now. Let's see. Where does this explode? I might just hack around it for 2 seconds and see what I get as the result. No, 995. There we go. If base adder is greater than or equal to 4092, just greater than 4092, base adder equals 4092. And then this is going to be a mute. And then we'll see what we get if we just clip texture memory. Oh, would you look at that? I'm basically back to where I was before I rewrote all the tile stuff, which is pretty good, except I don't really understand why we're not setting the active tile correctly. Seems like we should. Is there some place I'm not using the active tile where I should be, or why do set tile and load tile both take the tile index? I guess you can load tiles that aren't active. Tile and Z size, blah, 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 blah. So we do those with the tile that's in the thing, but then textured triangles, we should be using the active triangle tile, right? Yep, active tile, active tile. Huh. Let's take out these prints and add every time we change the active tile. Do. Wait, what? I must have not saved this, I guess. Yeah. Incorrect limiter again, because every time I comment this line out, I forget to comment that line out. Fuzzy cat. Let's turn the copying stuff off also. Alright, so active tile to 0, active tile to 0, active tile to 0, active tile to 0. Are they all supposed to be 0? This one has a tile line size of 8. That does say tile 0. So I guess we reload. Maybe it's in load triangle then, or load texture rather. Set texture image, rdp.texture equals image ref. And then when we go to load this, Alright, well, I think we've made good progress today, honestly. We got some triangles drawing, we've got some texture memory. We're getting a lot closer to having this working. I am gonna head out now. It's been about 2 hours, I think, that I've been up. And it's not too late here, but I do have some more things to do tonight. So I'm going to say goodbye now. Thanks everyone for stopping by, especially to the raid from Zorchenheimer. That was very kind of you, and I hope to catch one of your streams sometimes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Next week, hopefully be back again, maybe a little earlier in the day, and get this all the way working. But until then, I appreciate you coming by, and I'll see you next week.